Good morning, race fans. Andy Jones-Wilkins here, coming in live from the White Tank Regional Mountain Park. Oh, bear with me, Aaron's just making a quick announcement out front. For the Sonoran Desert Cup, 7th race in the series, the Mesquite Canyon 30K. The 50K just went off about 10 minutes ago, and we are just a little bit more than 4 minutes away from the start of the Mesquite Canyon 30K in beautiful White Tank Mountains. We had quite a bit of rain yesterday here in the valley. First time we've had rain in, it seems like about 7 months or so. Here's a good shot of the start line. Sunrise just a few minutes away. You can see Aaron Barber there on the left of the screen, the race director for the Desert Runner Trail Series, and getting everybody corralled for a few last-minute announcements. This is one of the more mountainous of the Desert Runner Trail Series races with a good 2,500 feet. There's Aaron right there with about 2,500 feet of gain and loss in the 30K. That's a pretty robust 30K if you ask me. The White Tank Mountains on the northwest corner quadrant of the Valley of the Sun. It's chilly but clear, and the rain has really cleared the air for today's race. This is the final race in the regular season of the Sonoran Desert Cup. The finals championship race takes place a month or so from now at the Dam Run in Lake Pleasant. There's the start line. You'll notice I'm going solo this morning. My normal partner, Chris Warden, as part of his Western States training, is running the 30K. Maybe we'll get a shot of him somewhere along the way. There's a great shot of the White Tanks. We are in that red Mountain Outpost tent just below. I'll review the aid stations and various checkpoints once they get going here, but you can see they're just going to start right out onto that single track that you see just below. There's the campground. There's several campgrounds here in the White Tanks. Tent camping, family camping, group camping. Great drone shot here now looking back to the east, down to Phoenix proper. Aaron Barber told us on our pre-race show on Wednesday, if you didn't see the pre-race show, Chris and I did a pre-race show with Aaron on Wednesday. Over 500 people entered in the race in all the various distances today. The 50-miler and 50K have already gone off. There's also this showcase 30K, and then also a half marathon and an 8K and a kids fun run. So there's something for everybody here at the Mesquite Canyon Trail Runs. Aaron just going through his final announcement. Just over 100 entered in the 30K. It's actually a touch longer than 30K. As is customary in Aravaipa races, they are sticklers about distance. You're never going to be shorted distance, and about a minute away now, for 30 seconds away from the start of the 30K. Just over 18 and a half miles of beautiful, beautiful desert running. As I mentioned, one of the more mountainous courses in the desert, in the Sonoran Desert Cup. We'll talk a little bit about the field in a minute as we get those runners going.
3, 2, 1, go get it, guys! Yellow sign for the 30K.
And they are off. And they are off to the races in the Mesquite Canyon 30K. Jordan, is this dead? Sorry. Sorry, we just lost the light, and I was worried about that perhaps we lost the mic, but we did not. All right, the runners are off, and the Mesquite Canyon 30K. Give you a little bit of a rundown of what they have ahead. There are just 3 aid stations over the just short of 19 miles. First aid station is Goat Camp, the famous trail here in the White Tanks. Goat Camp will be right about 10K, 6.3 miles to the Goat Camp aid station. From there, they've got about a 9-mile stretch to Mesquite Aid with almost 1,000 feet of climbing. If you tuned in on Wednesday, you heard Aaron Barber, race director, talk about the Mesquite Aid. That is a hike-in aid station, and Aaron had a crew of hardy volunteers earlier in the week to haul water up to that aid station. That comes right about 15 miles. Then there's another aid station, Waddell, just about 2 miles later after a screaming downhill. And then they're into the finish, just short of 19 miles. There is 2,470 feet of ascent and descent here, the lowest point on the course, around 1,380 feet, and the highest point, a robust 3,200 feet above sea level here in the White Tanks. The Desert Trail Series, of course, showcases all of the regional parks in the Phoenix area. We have been to McDowell Mountain Regional Park. We've been to Cave Creek a couple of times. And here we are at the White Tanks. Of course, we're at the Estrellas for the Coldwater Rumble back in January. And here we are in the White Tanks. Aside from the Estrellas, the highest mountain range in the valley. Speaking of the Estrellas, NASCAR fans out there will know this is a big NASCAR weekend down in the Estrella Mountain Park, as Phoenix International Raceway is hosting a NASCAR event, so there's all kinds of activity going on there. Of course, we're also in the middle of spring break here out in the valley. Lots of spring breakers here soaking in the sun, especially after yesterday's rain. And my favorite thing to do in the month of March, spring training baseball is alive and well here in the valley. In fact, later today, I'm going to be joining my family at the Diamondbacks-Reds game in Goodyear. If you are in the valley, make a point to pop in to see some spring training games while you're down here. Here's a good drone shot as we're back live. Just about 4 minutes into the 30K. Here's our towards where we are at the start-finish area. You can see this is a nice, wide, smooth trail to start. Aaron gave us the rundown of the course. Nice, wide, smooth trail to start before they get into a little bit more of the technical, sort of classic pile of rocks Arizona trails that are so characteristic of the countryside out here. Some of the Grigsby are all in the race. A strong field of women of the Sonoran Desert Cup. On the men's side, Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, Justin Clamage. Some of the men in the front of the pack, Brittany McClock, who have some solid results. Have a solid result here at the Mesquite Canyon 30K. Inaugural year of the park. Here we are for the Mesquite Canyon 30K. As we mentioned already, 50K and 50 mile going on as well. In a few minutes, the half marathon will start, then the 8K and the kids race. We are down here at the start finish line. Half marathoners checking in, 8Kers checking in. We see a lot of familiar faces. This is for bigger events later on in the spring and into the summer. March is always that that season where you want to jump into a race, maybe knock off a little bit of rust, and test your legs on a competitive course like this one at the Mesquite Canyon 30K. I remember running the Mesquite Canyon 50K. Gosh, it had to be about 12 years ago or so, and I for a little while I battled back and forth with legendary ultra runner and my good friend Ian Torrance. Ian lived in Flagstaff for legendary desert rat from so shout out to Ian Torrance. Not quite as much of a breeze as we had quite a bit of wind over the last couple of days as the storm system was moving in and through. Certainly below normal temperatures here, probably in the mid to upper 40s. But the sun will be warming us up shortly. If you're in the area, come on by, say hello at the red Mountain Outpost tent, just below the start-finish area of the Mesquite Canyon 30K. Again, the runners will hit the Goat Camp aid station just over 10K into the race, so a third of the way into the race. Then they've got a good 10-mile stretch to the Mesquite Canyon aid station, the one I mentioned earlier, where volunteers had to haul aid up, water up in external frame backpacks, kind of going old school, Sherpa-ing that water up to the aid station. Hosting over 500 runners across all the distances. It has kind of become the magic number this season, with the series that began all the way back with the Cave Creek Thriller in October, and the most recent races in January, Elephant Mountain and Coldwater Rumble and Pass Mountain. A non-desert runner trail series, but a fantastic race that I had a chance to run a couple of weeks ago, the Canal Corridor on the other side of the valley from here, actually outside of Superior, Arizona, circumnavigates Picket Post Mountain. Our director, Zach Marion, was out there running. Aaron Barber was running. Bryce Brooks was running. It was kind of an Aravaipa showcase there. Get that one on your calendar if you want a nice late February getaway to the Canal Corridor. Fantastic event. As is this one, as is the Mesquite Canyon series of races here in the beautiful White Tank Regional Park. Again, we would expect the lead Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, Justin Clamage. On the women's side, very excited to see Devin Nyhill back. Devin, a former lacrosse player. How she lines up with the camera coverage here. We've got some drones out there. We've got a bike cam or two. We should have thanks to our sponsors, Squirrels Nut Butter, Huss Brewing, Aravaipa Running. And speaking of Squirrels Nut Butter is one of the premier sponsors of an extremely exciting The Chase film chronicling the performances of the runners at the tree. Produced the film, stars Joe McConaughey, Jeff Browning, Arlen Glick, Mike McKnight, and Michael Versteeg, as well as Heraldus Subertus. I will be honored to be hosting that event, taking place at the Orpheum Theater next Saturday, 5 p.m. the doors open, 6 p.m. the film starts. It's going to be a blast. So if you go to the Aravaipa website, Google The Chase, buy your tickets, and come join us in Flagstaff next Saturday. There's also on March 29th a matinee at 1 p.m. and an evening show at 6 p.m. at the Herberger Theater. So come on out. And by the way, if you're tuning in from afar and you are interested in bringing The Chase to your hometown, reach out. There's a way to reach out on the Chase website and reach out to Jamil and Dylan and the team, and Emily, who's producing the tour, Emily Harris, Dylan's better half, and you can learn how you can host a screening in your own town. Just recently, Santa Cruz announced a showing. New York, New York, there's going to be a showing of the chase in Manhattan, which we're really thrilled about. So go check that out. We are at the Mesquite Canyon 50K, 50-mile, 30K showcase event. I'm in. It is just starting to peak above the horizon as the 30K runners are making their way to Goat Camp. Half marathon starts at 7:30, so there's a bit of a break. The 50-miler went off at 6:15 local time. The 50K at 6:30, and the 30K just a few moments ago, about 15 minutes ago, at 6:45. As runners make their way to the aid stations, and 50K runners, nobody there yet, but I would expect them to get that information. You can also tune in yourselves and see and chart the progress of the runners yourselves. Our producer, Jordan Schmidt, is here. Wearing pants today. He says, only took you how long? I catch on, as they say, I catch on quick after a long time. Good times here. Sun starting to hit the start-finish area here at the Mesquite Canyon 50-mile, 50K, 30K showcase event of the Sonoran Desert Cup here in Northwest. A fantastic setup, as is customary with all the Sonoran Desert Cup races. There is racers will be availing themselves of after they finish running their events, whether it be the 50-mile, the 50K, the 30K, the half marathon, the 8K, or the kids' fun run. 7:30 p.m. AM sharp. Forecast today is for temperatures in the mid-60s, a little bit below the seasonal average. Again, this storm system that came through and gave us our first rain in over 200 days, a real good soaking rain, by the way, really cleared the air out. It is a crisp and clear spring. Rock outcroppings that are sort of a sandstone, limestone conglomeration, and they do fill with water with rains like we had, and gives the mountain range its name, and often attracts wildlife out here in the Sonoran Desert. Estrellas being the largest. Some of the peaks here get close to 4,000 feet. The course will go over 3,200 feet of gain and loss. So it's one of the it's talking about my temperature regulation. I borrowed his sleeping bag without bag. So thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Adam, one of the hardest working volunteer / workers with Aravaipa, seems to be at every event from start to finish, doing all like the hard stuff and all that sort of stuff. Adam does an incredible job, as does the entire team at Aravaipa, seemingly every weekend putting something on. This is the Mesquite Canyon Trail Runs, one of the great events on the series. The seventh and final in the regular, back with the Cave Creek Thriller. Three in the fall, 4 in the spring. These races are all showcasing the sub-K. And runners can accumulate points. They have to run 2 of the 3 points, and the ball series And the spring series qualify at the Damn Good Run. Damn Good Run gets its name from the dam at the south end of Lake Pleasant in 2 weeks. Is it right? Yeah, coming up in 2 weeks. In the state, along with Zane Grey, is the same place where the Damn Good Run starts and finishes, which will be the final race, the championship race in the inaugural Sonoran Desert Cup series, showcasing the sub-ultra distances in the Aravaipa calendar. Again, runners, the 30K is about 22 minutes gone by, and runners are on their way to the Goat Camp aid station. Quick update on the 50K who have hit the Waddell aid station. Nathan Bauman in the lead at 30 elapsed. Bob Vanderwall a minute or so behind, and Rebecca Rose leading the women's race in 31:58, followed closely by Brittany Olson, second place woman and fourth place overall. In the 50-mile race, Jake Jackson took it out hard and is in the lead through Waddell 1 in just under 30 minutes, followed by Sion Lupowitz and Josh Fruin. The 50-miler and 50K do hit the Waddell aid station, which is just 3.7 miles from the start finish. The 30K does not. Until the Goat Camp aid station, just about 10K into the race. The sun is starting to hit our broadcast booth, which is very nice for yours truly. I am definitely a desert rat. I would take 100 degrees over 50 degrees any day of the week. I know some of you wonder about that, but for me, the hotter the better. This is Andy Jones Wilkins coming to you from the White Tank Mountain Regional Park. If you've not been to the White Tanks, next time you come to the Phoenix area, please make a trip out here. It's beautiful. It's a sprawling park, 3 or 4 different campgrounds, about a dozen kind of picnic areas and pull-off spots, wildlife, snakes, jackrabbits, coyotes, a little bit of everything out here. Just it took me about 30 minutes from my house right in downtown Phoenix to be out here where you really do feel like you're out in the middle of the desert. Getting close to the start of the half marathon. Lead runner just hit it pretty fast. That's a sub 40-minute 10K.
You half marathoners about that time to head over to the start line. Also, special announcement for Donald Hughes. I have your driver's license at the time.
Big half marathon field assembling here, right in front of our tent. As you are also watching 41 minutes in, our bike cam out around Goat Camp, our first aid station. Kyle Gallagher. All right, that's confirmation. It was indeed Kyle Gallagher in that unlisted Run Club jacket, hitting Goat Camp in first place, 39:33. Kyle Gallagher is our leader. .3 miles into the event. Kurt Houghton, there we go. Kurt Houghton coming in second place. About a minute, just under a minute and a half back of Kyle. About a minute and 25 seconds. Coming in hot today. Kyle Gallagher and Kurt Houghton, our first two runners through the Goat Camp aid station at mile 6.3. It's a good view of runners coming into the Goat Camp aid station. It's a little short out and back into this aid station at mile 6.3. Beautiful morning for a run here in the desert, as you can see. Sun is out. All right, we've got a good first three women are through Goat Camp, pretty much all together. Abby Tuomi, Nicole Hansen, and Devin Nihill, as expected, all three running together in 4th, 5th, and 6th place overall. Coming into Goat Camp in 43.25, that's Abby Tuomi, Nicole Hansen, and Devin Nihill. Top three women into Goat Camp: Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, and Tony Joe. Start finish of all the races. Aaron Barber, race director, there on your left. And here's our Goat Camp aid station. Good drone shot of our area. There's our red broadcast tent. Back. Again, to review, we've got our top three women, top three men and top three women through Goat Camp. Kyle Gallagher leading Kurt Houghton by about a minute and a half. Abby Tuomi, Nicole Hansen, and Devin Nihill. Half marathon has started. All right. We are Brianna Grigsby has now come into Goat Camp. Brianna, successful Viper runner, been around a while on the circuit. About 3 minutes behind that lead trio of Tuomi, Hansen, and Nihill. And so, at the Tuomi, Nicole Hansen, Devin Nihill, pretty much all together, followed about 3 minutes later by Brianna Grigsby through Goat Camp at mile 6.3. Rolling, washy stuff, and then they hit the climb, and it gets, as race director Aaron Barber says, it gets 50-mile, 50K, 30K, and half marathon have all started. 50-miler started at 6. 5. Half marathon just started at 7:30. The 8K is going to go at 8. All times Arizona time. Speaking of Arizona time, this is one of the days we in Arizona, we kind of smile happily in a day like today. For the rest of the country, for most of the rest of the country, tonight you're going to have to change your clocks. We don't believe in that here in Arizona, so. We will not. We go from being same time as Colorado and New Mexico and Montana to being the same time as California, Oregon, and Washington. So while the rest of you lose an hour tonight, we don't. We just keep on keeping on out here in Arizona. No daylight savings time for us. We always have are saving our daylight. Scott Davidson and Dan Roeder are the most recent runners through Goat Camp in 47:01 and 47:37 respectively. Dan Roeder had a good showing as well in the fall series of the Sonoran Desert Cup. Hansen Nihil leading the women. I am Andy Jones Wilkins, coming to you from drive from downtown Phoenix. After a day of rain and wind and storminess yesterday, today has dawned crisp and clear. Sun is shining, not a cloud in the sky. A beautiful spring day here in the White Tanks. Brittany Lump is the fifth woman through Goat Camp in 50:36, and Michael Rabani, 11th place male and 6th place man, is also through Goat Camp at mile 6.3. Again, the climbing starts a little bit more in earnest after Goat Camp, about a mile after Goat Camp, as they begin that grinding climb up to the Mesquite aid station. Regular viewers of the Mountain Outpost YouTube channel and Aravaipa Running might be surprised that I'm broadcasting solo this morning. Well, my partner in crime, Chris Warden, as I think most of you know, is on the entrance list for Western States, and so it has a series of races that he's using as his training runs and tune-ups, and so he's out there in the 30K running, so not able to be on the broadcast team this morning. Has more important things to do. He will be around for the damn good run, though, training to do as well, because I'm doing Cocodona 250, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But here we are, and that's how we roll. Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, and Tony Jareggi leading the men. Abby Tuomi, Nicole Hansen, Devin Nihil leading the women here at the Sonoran Desert Cup Mesquite Canyon 30K. It's a pretty long stretch between Goat Camp and what is known as the Mesquite Aid Station, which comes at mile 15 and is a full 750 feet higher than Goat Camp. It's a big grinding climb up that trail. And then from that point on, a nice and smooth and pretty fast descent back down into the valley and the finish area here at the competitive track of the White Tank Mountain Regional Park. We have an exciting Mountain Outpost YouTube schedule of live streams coming up, in addition to the aforementioned Damn Good Run, which will be the finals of the Sonoran Desert Cup. Later in April, we'll be at the Lake Sonoma races up in California. And then in May, one of our flagship events, the Cocodona 250, a week-long celebration of running excess from Deep Canyon Ranch up to Flagstaff. And then later in the season, Western States 100, High Lonesome 100, Hard Rock 100, Run Rabbit Run 100, And, of course, one of our favorites, the Javelina 100. And who knows what other surprises Zach and Matt and Jamil and the team might have for us in the 2025 live stream season. But we're thrilled to be here for the 30K. White Tank Mountain Regional Park in Arizona. Fourth race in the spring series of the Sonoran Desert Cup. All right, there we go. We just had a little audio problem. Here we are at the Goat Camp aid station. Just under an hour into today's race. All right. Yeah, it's a great shot of the beautiful desert landscape looking out into the White Tanks proper. Now over 30 runners through, including legendary local Noel Kingston. Had a great Western States finish back in June. Again, in the lead of the men's race, we have Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, and Tony Jareggi. And in the women's race, Abby Twomey, Nicole Hansen, and Devin Nihill. Just about an hour in. Over 500 runners across all 5 distances. That, of course, does not include the kids' race. Just over 120 in the signature 30K. You can see runners, it's a little bit of an out and back section as they're coming in both directions, coming in and out of this area. That's a good shot looking east out to the Phoenix area proper. There's a good shot here. Runners coming and going in and out of this area here. Mesquite Canyon's trail runs today on a beautiful Chamber of Commerce Day in Regional Park. Here we are back on some runners exiting the Goat Camp aid station. Mile 6.3 of the 30K. Just a few minutes here before the start of the final distance of the day, the 8K. Runners coming in and out of Goat Camp. Mountain range and the desert on each side. Mass choyas. Lots of wildlife out here too. Rattlesnakes, jackrabbits, coyotes. And boasting over 2,500 feet of vertical gain. Packed into 18.9 miles. One of the more mountainous of the Sonoran Desert Cup races for sure. After a relatively tame prelude over the first 6 miles, it really ramps up on the section that most of the field is in right now, traversing from Goat Camp to the Mesquite aid station. Lead runner in the men's side, Kyle Gallagher, followed by Kurt Houghton and Tony Jareggi. And on the women's side, a pack of 3 altogether, Abby Tuomi, Nicole Hansen, and Devin Nihill, with Brianna Grigsby giving chase. Race number 7 out of 7, Sonoran Desert Cup. We began way back in October with the Cave Creek Thriller. And wrapping up the regular season here with Mesquite Canyon Trail Runs. And next month, the finals at the Damn Good Run in Lake Pleasant. inaugural year of this series, celebrating the sub-ultra distances. In my opinion, a huge growth area in the sport of trail running over the last couple of years, and I think it will continue. When you see the success of, for example, of the Golden Trail series and sub-ultra distances, and just the accessibility, you can come out, you can run 15, 20 miles, go home, enjoy the rest of your day. You can run sub-ultra distance, once a month without a whole lot of wear and tear. It's great to see so many people. It was not that long ago where pretty much to get onto the trails and be in a competitive environment, you needed to run an ultra. No more. And thanks to organizations like Aravaipa and others, there are ample opportunities to hit the trails for example, for today, distances from 8K to half marathon to 30K. We're, of course, showcasing the 30K today, but many of these Aravaipa events, especially in the Sonoran Desert Cup races, feature a wide range of distances, giving people ample opportunity to hit the trails, as are over 500 people today at White Tank Mountain Regional Park. And we're back on, and it looks like right about Aaron's getting ready to. This shot is the camera at the Goat Camp aid station. Runners coming and going in and out of this aid. Mile 6.3. Away from getting an update from out there.
All right, AK runners. If you haven't run an Aravaipa race, in addition to all that stuff, we have distance-specific marking. Your signs are blue today. They say 8K on them, so make sure you follow the blue signs that say 8K. A lot of different distances happening at this event. So there are a couple junctions where it'll say critical turn ahead, and usually a critical turn will be where distances split from each other. So make sure you're paying attention to those signs. Make sure you follow the blue 8K sign.
As I mentioned earlier, Mesquite Canyon is one of the more mountainous, probably the most sort of pure mountain run of the Sonoran Desert Cup races. Boasts over 2,500 feet of climbing and packed into 18 miles. The White Tanks down area of the valley that has grown tremendously. This northwest quad, the creation of the 303 freeway and yet the White Tanks Regional Park remains pristine. See right here, just stunningly beautiful desert environment. And after yesterday's Friday, this morning, closing in on 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.
And all the proceeds from the charity beer garden go to wilderness volunteers. We partner with them to build trails around the valley and after this wonderful regional park. 45 seconds for the 8K, 27:30 on the women's side, 30:45. Those are your goals. Just go out really fast and try to hold on. That is my recommendation. We've got 10 seconds for you 8K runners. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go get them, 8K.
Sorry. Yeah, 8 o'clock sharp. Our clock in the top left-hand corner is just an hour off.
Don't make it any longer than it has to be.
Huss Brewing, Maricopa County Regional Parks, Athletico Physical Therapy. They set up shop at all of these races and help runners with their recovery. A great physical therapy company here in the Valley. And this shot here of Goat Camp. Might get a shot. You never know. If we're lucky, we might get a shot of my partner Chris Warden, the voice of Aravaipa Running. I would expect him into this aid station sometime in the next 10 or 15 minutes. Again, he's hot and heavy in his training for Western States. Was out at Copper Corridor a couple weeks ago. Coached by Flagstaff legend Pete Mortimer. Again, Andy Jones-Wilkins here, AJW reporting live from White Tank Mountain Regional Park, northwest area of Phoenix. This is the 7th and final regular season event on the Sonoran Desert Cup calendar. The championship race takes place next month at the Damn Good Run. Our Vipa calendar and one of the oldest ultras in the state, Crown King Scramble, takes place on March 22nd. Always a gathering of the tribe, if you will, as runners run from the shores of Lake Pleasant at about 1,500 feet to the pine forests up above Crown King, the small mining town in the heart of the Bradshaw Mountains. Finish line right at the oldest continuously running saloon in Arizona, the Crown King Saloon, which is also home to the 37-mile aid station of Cocodona 250 in May. Crown King for years was put on by the Arizona Road Racers, and has about 8-9 years ago was taken over by Aravaipa Running. And Jamil Curry himself is the race director of that legendary 31-mile run. From the spines to the pines is the tagline. From the spines to the pines. That's Crown King, not part of the Sonoran Desert Cup, but one of the great runs here. Should be on anybody's bucket list if you want to run some sweet Arizona ultras. As should this, the Mesquite Canyon Trail runs, 50 miles, 50K, 30K, half marathon, and 8K. We are showcasing the 30K today. Kyle Gallagher, Kurt, Nicole Han, high above this aid station that we see right here. Aid station that is has to be hand supplied with water jugs that are hauled up in internal frame backpacks by a team that race director Aaron Barber assembles to get several hundred gallons of water up high above the valley floor. It's about an 8.5 mile section with a lot of climbing between Goat Camp and a Mesquite aid station. And then once they get to Mesquite aid station, it's a relatively quick and smooth descent back down here to the finish. you're just joining us, this is the men's leaderboard once again. This was from Goat Camp a little less than 40 minutes ago. All of these runners are making their way up to Mesquite Aid right now. It's in Dan Roeder. Dan Roeder is already in the finals. And then Michael Rabani, Brent Popek, Davis Kukendall, and Ed Golden. Up. Won't be very hot today, though. Forecast for temperatures in the mid-60s. It's not in the mid-60s yet, I can assure you. And the women's leaderboard, Abby Twomey, Nicole Hansen, and Devin Nihil were pretty much in lockstep together as they hit the Goat Camp aid station, with Brianna Grigsby about 3 minutes behind. Brittany Lump, another woman, is already qualified for the finals, about 7 minutes in arrears. And then Caitlin Hudema, Amanda Paitzer, Nicole Barramond, and Brittany McLaughlin. Some shots from a mobile cam out there. Not sure if this is a bike cam or a hand camera or a gimbal camera. That was Jim Walmsley. I know we hadn't seen him on the tracker yet, but that was Jim Walmsley. We just saw hit Goat Camp, yellow shirt there, in the lead of the 50K, hour and 40 minutes. Using this as a tune-up, I would assume, for his Western States run in a couple of months. Most folks know Jim is born and raised in Arizona and down here in the Valley. Currently lives in Flagstaff, but a proud Arizonan. Probably knows these trails well. Hasn't done an Era Viper race in several years, so nice to see Jim back and running well. Was a little nursing a little bit of an injury through the fall, but seems to be back at it and running well here today at the Mesquite Canyon 50K. It's 14 miles. He traversed 14 miles in an hour and 40 minutes. Here's our man, Chris Warden, coming into goat camp. Enjoying a day off from announcing and commentating to spend some quality time out here on the trails. There he is in the blue shirt. Good work, Chris. Right about an hour and a half. Good to see Chris moving well in his next tune-up. This looks like another one of the 50K runners. Just getting quickly crewed there. We saw Jim Walmsley there about 3 minutes ago. I'll get an ID on that runner in a second. About 5 minutes behind Jim, I should say. Oh, Jordan just scared me. He came skidding in. Now he came skidding out. He's moving in so fast I can't even ask him to get me a snack. So we had in the 30K, Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, and Tony Jareggi leading the men. Abby Twomey, Nicole Hansen, Devin Nyhill leading the women. In the 50K, so far into goat camp, we've seen Jim Walmsley. And in the 50...
Following around with the Sonoran Cup 30K today, we got a really tight race on the women's side, and the top three came through the goat camp aid station.
And in the 50 miler, Danielle Park.
Devin Nyhill and Nicole Hansen, but they, again, are 9 seconds apart, starting to slide off goat camp.
Aaron was just giving the crowd an update.
This race has opened up a 90-second lead over Kurt Houghton. And your 50K runners, one runner has made it to Goat Camp. They take a longer way to get there. And with Jim Walmsley, he is on sword purchase stage for the World Cup.
Aaron just noted that, to nobody's surprise, Jim Walmsley is on Mesquite Canyon 50K course record pace into Goat Camp at mile 14.3. The 50K gets into Goat Camp significantly later than the 30K. Just over an hour and a half into the 30K, Sonoran Desert Cup, 7th and final race of the regular season. The top 20 individuals with 2 results and points in the top 20 will earn a trip to the Damn Good Run on April 6th in Lake Pleasant, for the Sonoran Desert Cup finals. Group of runners qualified in the fall series. 2 out of those 3 races, and a group of runners are qualifying here in the spring series of this series, the inaugural Sonoran Desert Cup, celebrating the sub-ultra distances. All of the events ranging from 24K to 40K. Again, it's about a 8.5 mile stretch for the 30K runners between Goat Camp and Mesquite. A lot of it is uphill. It's the Goat Camp Trail, grinding climb up to the location of the Mesquite aid station. It's rugged and chunky, as Aaron Barber likes to say. And then once they crest the ridge, it's a nice, fast descent back down here to the valley floor and the finish line. Mesquite Canyon trail runs. 7th and final race in the regular season of the Sonoran Desert Cup. The inaugural year celebrating the sub-ultra distances started way back in October with the Cave Creek Thriller, finishing up here with Mesquite Canyon, and then a month from now the finals for the top 20 qualifiers from both the fall series and the spring series will come together to compete for the championship at the Dam Good Run in Lake Pleasant, about 20 miles due east of where we're sitting right now. This is the Goat Camp aid station. Aaron Barber, race director, is getting ready to greet the 8K finishers. 8K finishers, the most recent distance that took off. In addition to 8K here, there's a half marathon, the 30K that we're showcasing, the 50K, and the 50 mile. At last count, Jake Jackson was K. And we would expect the front pack with Kyle Gallagher to get to miss just a fast 3 miles, 3.5 miles back down here to the finish. This might be another 50K runner looking at the speed at which they're coming in. Try and get an idea on that runner. I'm thinking is second or third place in the 50K. Jesse Carr. That was Jesse Carr, second place male, coming in and out of Goat Camp, 15 minutes back of race leader Jim Walmsley in the 50K. That's Jesse Carr. Some more 30K runners coming into Goat Camp. This is the mile. They go up to Mesquite twice in the 50K. And speaking of Mesquite, that's what the 30K runners are nearing right now, the Mesquite aid station. Mesquite Canyon Trail Runs. Brought to you by Aravipa. Huge thank you to 8K winner coming into the finish line right now.
Edward Diaz, 29:36. Great job sneaking under 30 minutes.
Edward Diaz
Runner-up right behind him.
is the winner of the 8K.
Great job, Sam. Bring it all the way in.
There's a shot of the finish line. Pace, ho-hum. Great drone shot of the trails just outside our broadcast area. Beautiful start-finish venue here. Now looking north. Looks like another 8K runner coming in on that nice, smooth double track. Look at that. That is great. Kind of makes me want to get out there and go for a run myself. Or maybe a hike.
And this is going to be rounding out your podium.
Might come out here and go for a run tomorrow. Got to get South Mountain if you've not been to the valley. Another 8K finisher. Shirtless. We've got two runners in the 50K in the arrival of the leaders up at Mesquite aid station. Hour and 47 minutes into the 30K. Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, and Tony Jareggi were the first three men. Into Goat Camp, Abby Twomey, Nicole Hansen, Devin Nihill, first three women.
Kyle Campbell bringing it home.
I'm back. Sorry, I was checking to see if the grilled cheese was ready because I smelled it. It's almost ready. Thanks, Jen Gustafson. Jen Gustafson, one of the key aid station volunteers with Aravipa. Good drone shot here. Some of the other, some more 8K runners coming to the finish.
Are we going to do it? The first of 5 do it Tuesday.
This is Andy Jones Wilkins coming to you live from White Tank, one of the crown jewels of the Maricopa County Regional Park System. Just an incredible venue. Beautiful campgrounds, stunning mountain vistas. First place woman in the 8K finishing. And here we are back out at the Goat Camp aid station. You can see there's a quick turnaround area for the 50K runners. They come through here at about 14 and a half miles. The 30K runners come through here about mile 6.3. This looks like a 50K runner coming into the turnaround. If I'm not mistaken, would be the first place woman in the 50K. See if I can get, but she's going so fast I can't tell for sure. Kyle Gallagher is the first runner in the 30K through Mesquite Aid Station in 1:53:45. He's been leading wire to wire so far. Was Elsa confirming third place overall, first place woman, Elsa McDonald in 2:10, 30 minutes behind Jim Wong 5 and Elsa McDonald in 2:10. Did through Mesquite Aid at 1:53:45. Mesquite Aid, by the way, is at 15.1 miles. It's at 2,200 feet, and it is 3.8 miles from there to the finish. Expect to see Kyle sometime in the next 30 minutes finishing the 30K. Kyle Gallagher leading the Sonoran Desert Cup 30K race with just more than 3.5 miles to go. This woman, Elsa McDonald. Elsa's from Canada, spends a fair bit of time down here in the desert in the summertime, in the fall, in the wintertime and fall. No. And Tony Jaregi at Mesquite shortly. And again, in the women's race, it was Abby Twomey, Nicole Hansen, and Devin Nihil pretty much running together at Goat Camp. And Kurt Houghton now second place through a Mesquite aid. Looks like about 4 minutes and 15 seconds behind Kyle. So Kyle a 4 minute and 15 second lead over Kurt Houghton at the Mesquite aid. Mile 15. Mile 15.1, just 3.8 uphill from where we're sitting right now at the finish, start finish. So two through Mesquite aid. Runners through Goat Camp, mile 14.8, Jim Walmsley in 140, Jesse Carr in 155, Elsa McDonald 210. That's your top three in the 50K. Oh, it looks like a new aid station view here. This might be Waddell. Might be the Waddell aid station, which they will blow through, I would guess, on their way back in here.
Podium presentation in the next 2 or 3 minutes for the 8K. So if you hear your name called right now, slowly make your way over looking for the women's side. Kelsey Stevens, Melissa Beer, and Ashley Harris. And if you're one of those three, Sam Zaverka and Edward Diaz. We'll be over there to call your name times and give you your awards in the next 2 or 3 minutes.
All right, we've got a follow cam here. This is the descent off Mesquite. Don't hit that barbed wire. Great camera work here coming in. You can see these tight switchbacks.
All right, we are all set for our awards presentation.
First place woman, Nicole Hansen, is
Stevens, hop up on the podium, and your runner-up in a time of 38:41, Melissa Beer, 129.
Houghton passing Kyle Gallagher, not sure.
31:26.
Yep. That was Kurt Houghton passing Kyle Gallagher. What a close by Kurt.
Race on our men's side. Your runner-up today in a time of 30 minutes and 3 seconds, Sam Paverka. And just 20
2 hours and 5 minutes elapsed in the 30K
29:36.
as they're descending that steep, switchy, backy descent off Mesquite. Again, we have 3 runners through Mesquite Aid: Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, and Nicole Hansen. And we believe we just saw Kurt reel in Kyle and pass him right before our camera went off. Nicole Hansen with an impressive climb from Goat Camp to Mesquite. Also back over in the 50K, we have 3 more runners through Goat Camp: Andrea Pomeranski, Jose Amaya, and Joel Thurston.
So it's all downhill and flat from there. Kyle Gallagher, again, our 3-time champion of this race and distance, has a 4.5-minute lead over Kurt Houghton. On the women's side, the first lady to come through the ski has been Nicole Hansen. And I'll speak to public today. It was a tight race at Goat Camp, but Nicole supplied that she's at the mountain rise with us to open up the race.
So this is the Waddell aid station. It looks like Houghton and Gallagher coming through together. They're probably not going to stop. Nope, they're not. Good shot there. So that aid station is about 1.5 miles from where we are. Miles from the finish. The descent is over. It's flat and rolling.
Looks like we got a couple more Duets making their way to the finish.
Going through Waddell. Next runner we would see through here. 6 or 7 more minutes. This aid station is at 16.9 miles of the 30K. Just 2 miles separate that aid station from our location right here at the start-finish. So I would guess 12 to 15 minutes from now we'll see Abby Twomey and Devin Nihill were 2nd and 3rd women back at Goat Camp. Yet to see them through. All right, we do have Kyle's split through Waddell in 2:07. Again, just 2 relatively flat miles between Waddell and the finish. This might be Kurt coming in. So it does look like Kyle is still in his lead. We'll get a split on that momentarily, but I'm going to guess that was Kurt. About 3.5 minutes behind Kyle. Probably not enough. Yeah, I got that. Thank you. Another runner coming through. We're looking at the Waddell aid station, a little bit longer than 30K, but who's counting? Okay, that's confirmation then. Kurt Houghton, I was mistaken earlier.
All right, in our 30K, we've got our 2 meters in the last 2 miles of the race. They've made it off the mountains and they are on the flat.
Nicole Hansen, 3rd place overall.
Kurt Houghton. Kyle's got a 4.5 minute lead still. 5.5 minutes, sorry. Yeah. So it looks like unless something catastrophic happens, Kyle Gallagher is going to be taking his 4th win at Mesquite Canyon 30K. And on the women's side, Nicole Hansen has opened up a 4-minute lead over Devin Nyhill. Abby Toomey and a further 3 minutes back.
Great shot here of Nicole Hansen descending off of Mesquite. So got confirmation. Kyle Gallagher in the lead, 5 minutes and 20 seconds ahead of Kurt Houghton. This would be his... We see Nicole making this descent. We also would expect to see Kyle within the next 7 to 10 minutes. Nicole is sitting in 3rd place overall. Lead over 3rd place, Abby Tuomi. 3rd place in the men, Tony Jareggi, is right in between Devon and Abby. It's a great descent. This descends down, and at the base, Nicole, which is the section that Kyle and Kurt are on right now. 3rd place overall, Nicole Hansen. of the 30K. We would expect to see Nicole Hansen. Here she is right there with a camera following her. Nicole Hansen, first place woman, third place overall. Fill up, and she's on the way for her last 2 miles here to the aid. Woman got through there right around 2:17. 10 minutes back of Kyle Gallagher. We would expect to see Kyle in about 5 minutes. So our man Zach Marion on the camera, as you see in the black there, heading back up to catch another runner coming in. Are in a 9-mile section from Goat Camp back up to Mesquite. And again, that was that was Jim Walmsley in the lead over Jesse Carr. Elsa McDonald in third place overall, first place woman, followed by Andrea Pomeranski. Kurt Houghton, Nicole Hansen, your top three through Waddell aid station within 2 miles of the finish. Just a beautiful day for running here at White Tank Mountains Regional Park after a nice soaking rain yesterday. Crowd starting to gather expectantly, looking for the men's winner of the 30K, likely to be Kyle Gallagher in the next couple of minutes.
This is going to be your runner. And we got our 30K winner coming. That's Kyle Gallagher.
Kyle Gallagher is on his way in.
Once again, champion in the
Kyle Gallagher, winner of the 30K, fourth time. Fourth time's a charm. All right, second place woman, Devin Nihill through Waddell. Devin's about 5 minutes back of Nicole. $50K, and Eric LaPuma has just registered in at 4 minutes. At Goat Camp was 4 minutes behind Jim Walmsley. So the men's top three in the 50K are Jim Walmsley, Eric LaPuma, Jesse Carr, all three on their way to Mesquite 2. Leading the women's race in fourth overall, Elsa McDonald. Second, Andrea Pomeranski. And third, Rebecca Rose. That's an update on the 50K. In the 30K, Kyle Gallagher has finished his fourth win here at Mesquite Canyon 30K. We would expect Kurt Houghton next. And first place woman Nicole Hansen has cleared Waddell, as has Devin Nihill. Less than 2 miles. Through Waddell Aid Station. And Kyle Gallagher is your Mesquite Canyon 30K winner. Our producer Jordan is drinking some blue liquid, so all is right with the world. He tells me it's caffeine in its purest form. Brianna Grigsby, Tony Jareggi, and Abby Twomey are all through Waddell, real close together, kind of in a pack, at 224.50, 224.54, and
We should have a runner-up in the 30K, Kurt Houghton, and he's second here, and about 4 minutes behind him. Hey, speak it out. This is Kurt Houghton. He's going to be your runner-up in the 30K.
Kurt Houghton approaching the finish.
Run, Kurt. You're all done.
Kurt.
You're going to be Nicole Hansen at the 30K.
Mesquite Canyon 30K. Do have at Waddell, there were 3 women, Nihill in 222, Brianna Grigsby in 224, and fourth place woman Abby Twomey in 225. Still a race for that podium. Back to our finish line camera. Good drone shot here of Nicole Hansen, our lead woman. Closing in on the finish line, looking very smooth. You can see how close she is there in that shot. Michael Carr. Third place overall. There's a great shot of our start-finish line area.
Our women's champion in the 30K, making her way through the wash, was going to be Nicole Hansen. About a minute to go in the race.
Aaron Barber announcing Nicole's arrival. Got just one more little wash to run through. Really striding it out well.
Taking the win, Mesquite Canyon 30K. Great job, Nicole.
Nicole, 30 unofficially. No rest for the weary as our bike cam is going back out, no doubt, to find Devin. Up 7th out of 7 races. We have Kyle Gallagher with the men's win, Kurt Houghton in second, and Nick. And while I have a moment, let me circle back to the 50K. Jim Walmsley, our men's leader, has come through Mesquite 2. We're going to get it.
After that, we had a pretty tight battle for the final lead. Abby's got some really fast wheels now, and it was flat coming home from Waddell. So we'll see.
So just to summarize, Jim Walmsley is hit Mesquite 2 in the 50K. World Championship Trail Champion, United States Championship team of the World Trail Championships. Fantastic runner from Vermont, out here enjoying, no doubt enjoying some warmth and some sun. But we'll see how what kind of lead Jim has over Eric as Eric rolls into Mesquite. Back on the 30K, we are expecting Devin Nihill through next. 7. Just 5 minutes back of second place Kurt Houghton. So Devin Nihill, Brianna Grigsby could be the next two. Tony Jareggi was right there with Brianna, and then Abby Tuomi. So it looks like the competition for the women's podium is going to be a little bit tighter than for the men's. Dan Roeder, regular on the Sonoran Desert Cup series, has come through Waddell in 2:32. Scott Davidson in 2:33. Those are our 9. That summarizes our 9 that are through that final aid station with 2 to go.
We have Jim Walmsley come through the ski aid station for the second time. He has gone through 25 miles in 2:46. Kind of fast.
Again, this is our view of Waddell Aid Station. Slightly different descent into the finish from Mesquite. They go through Ford Canyon, 5 miles from Mesquite 2, and then just a quick finish now. Thriller. Devin hails from back east, a former lacrosse player. There we're looking at
Going to be your runner-up on the women's side in the 30K is Devin Knight.
here comes Devin Nihill into the finish.
Second place woman, fourth overall.
2:38 and change. Devin Nihill.
20 seconds with 2 miles to go, so we'll see who's coming.
Impressive run for Devin. Really nice. Just about 5 minutes behind Nicole for second place. Falling down that canyon. You saw the footage of our first couple of men, and he also gave chase to Nicole before running out of steam and coming back here to spend a little time here. But thank you, Zach, for doing that. Again, we have 4 finishers so far. The 30K, Kyle Gallagher and Kurt Houghton, 1 and 2 in the men's race. Nicole Hansen, Devin Nihill, 1 and 2 in the women's race. Sure. I mean, is this working?
Yeah, it works.
Okay, sure.
This is our third place in the women's side. That's Bree Grigsby.
And Brianna Grigsby is coming in.
Great run, Bree.
Third place woman, 5th overall. Thank you. All right, we have our top 5 overall finishers in. Top 2 men, Kyle Gallagher and Kurt Houghton, and our women's podium. Nicole Hansen, Devin Nihill, and Brianna Grigsby. Third place male into the finish. And we've got our, looks like we've got our 2 podiums. Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, Tony Garegi on the men's side. Nicole Hansen, Devin Nihill, and Brianna Grigsby on the women's side. Congratulations.
Racing team member Abby Scootney knocking out the 30K. All right, and since we do have our top 3 men and women in the 30K, we can do the podium presentation in the next 3-ish minutes or so. So if I call your name, just kind of slowly make your way over to the podium area. We'll take your picture and give you your hardware. So we're going to be looking for Tony Waregui, Kurt Houghton, and Kyle Gallagher. And on the women's side, Bree Grigsby, Devin Nihill, and Nicole Hansen. Like I said, in the next 3 minutes or so, we'll be This is her lady here. Probably smiling. Definitely smiling. Here's like the race number. Melissa Jones, also my neighbor. Congratulations, Melissa.
All right, back from a little break. Presentation at the area nearby the finish line, the podium for the Mesquite Canyon 30K, Sonoran Desert Cup race number 7. Again, it's Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, and Tony Gorecki for the men, and Nicole Hansen, Devin Nyhill, and Brianna Grigsby for the women. For update on the 50K, Jim Walmsley has cleared Mesquite 2 in 2:46. Don't have a time yet on Eric Lipuma, who was 4 minutes in arrears at Goat Camp, and then another 11 to Jesse Carr. Women's leader back at Goat Camp was Elsa McDonald.
All right, we're going to go up in 3rd place today.
Tony.
Your runner-up today, getting herself on the podium finally. Kurt Houghton, 2:27.14. And smoking fast time for the mountain scores over here. Mr. Kyle Gallagher taking home the. All right, and now we'll do the women's podium for the 30K. Real tight racing over here. So in 3rd place, we have got Aeromotor Racing Team member Bree Grigsby, bloody knees and all. 2:40.09 for Bree. Your runner-up today in 2:32.37, Devin Nyhill. Sorry, 2:38.15. 2:32.37 was Nicole Hansen, who took the win in the 30K. Congratulations, ladies.
All right, Kyle. Hey, everybody. We've got Kyle Gallagher here. Good to meet you. I'm Andy.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Kyle Gallagher, 4th win here.
Not my 4th to win, but my 4th time running it.
4th time running it.
First to win.
First time winning it.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good. I loved that climb, the 3 miles of.
Were you leading from the gun?
Yeah.
Was that your plan?
Yeah, I take the first 6 miles in particular is pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I'm a track man, so I like to treat it that way, like a track meet a little bit.
So did you got a gap? It looked like you got a gap pretty much right away and then just held on?
Yeah.
What do you like about that climb? Isn't it just a grindy, long?
I mean, it's kind of paradoxical that I do run track, but I like the steep stuff. Like the Tom's Thumb, I was there last week.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good race indicator. We got one of the fastest ascents.
Where was that?
Tom's Thumb and
Right
Scottsdale.
on.
Yeah, I'm not as good on the downhill, so I saw Jim Walmsley going down, and he's graceful going down.
Well,
taking notes.
Zach was trying to hang on to you running down that hill, and you were flying. It looked like.
I try to do my best.
Yeah.
It's not as well comparatively to the uphills, though.
So you take something like this. You've got the win here. What are your goals for the summer? You got anything on the calendar?
I do a little bit of road running too, so I got
right?
like paths run in a month. So last year I was just outside the top 10 there. Want to get
not bad. For those of you who don't know, Pat's Run, tribute to Pat Tillman, one of the great local legends here.
Valley Sports hat. I like seeing that.
Great local legends, and it's a fantastic event coming up in April. And then anything else on the trails?
Not as of right now, but the summer's kind of a.
Was this your first Sonoran Desert Cup race? I can't remember if you did anything in the fall.
The McDowell Mountain race.
You did the McDowell Mountain Frenzy?
I'm part of a running group, Unlisted Run Club, and I was kind of battling it out with Julian. I don't know how to say his last name.
Julian Kuyu.
And Devin Sharp.
That's right.
Aravaipa member. I think both. Julian might be too.
Yeah. That was a sweet race.
But for all intents and purposes, they're my teammates. So they humbled me that day.
Well, they should have come out here, slackers.
Yeah, they probably had something else in the agenda. But.
Was there any, did you feel any of we just had this massive rain for the first time in 200 days or something. Any impact on the trails out there? Or
what's this gentleman's name in the bike hat right here? What's their name?
Barry.
So Barry was with me out down the course, and I told him there's some really squishy parts.
Were they squishy? Yeah.
Trampoline.
But there was no mud or no.
I mean, there was, but it didn't make the distance any longer.
How about places where it might have been rutted out or anything like that? No,
not
pretty smooth, pretty good.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, hey man, thanks a lot for coming on. Congratulations.
Nice
Yeah, good to meet you, Kyle. What's that?
What was your name?
Andy.
Nice meeting you.
Good to meet you, Kyle. Take care. All right, that was Kyle Gallagher, our winner and champion of the final Sonoran Desert Cup race, Mesquite Canyon Trail Run 30K. Kyle running for Unlisted Run Club, looking back on his memory of running with his buddies at the McDowell Mountain Frenzy. We got another guest. Tony, congratulations. I'm Andy.
Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you, Andy.
Tony, am I going to pronounce this right? Haregi?
Close. Hodegi.
Tony Hodegi.
Yes, sir.
Third place, 2:41.38. How was it out there?
It was fun. The first part of the track was definitely fast. You're kind of just cruising, but that uphill was. I felt like the rocks were slick. It was hard to gain traction, so I definitely was not prepared for that. I can't say you're running the wet condition because it hasn't rained here and felt like years. So.
I know none of us are used to running in anything wet.
No, not at all. But no, it was definitely a fun day. So.
Well, what were you hung around third, and you were with that fast group of women kind of through the
very fast.
Yeah. So that must have been kind of fun, just sort of rocking along with that group.
Yeah, for sure. Especially I usually just run by myself every morning, so definitely my first event. So just kind of having people to pace and try to hang on to was.
Wait, this was your first event?
Yes, sir.
Right on.
Yes, sir.
Well, what a debut!
Thank you.
So first time doing an organized trail race.
Yes, sir.
What have you done before? Have you just come over from the roads, or you just kind of run and you just decided to sign up for something?
I really just train year round for hunting season. So runnings, I just run and work out a lot, and I run a lot, like I said, in the mornings on South Mountain, and so I kind of just figured why not try to get some competition in the off season. So.
Man, this is like a who is this guy type of deal. Well, did you like it enough that maybe you'll come back again?
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Right on. Well, this is the seventh and final race of the Sonoran Desert Cup. So next year we got 3 races in the fall, 4 in the spring. You can do 2 of one or 2 of the other, and we've got the final race coming up next month. So, man, welcome to the world of trail running.
Thank you. I appreciate
and what
it.
You ran in those speed lands?
Yes, sir. Right in the speed lands.
They must have been good on the little bit of slick stuff.
I liked them. Yeah,
right.
They've definitely been performing well for me.
All right. Well, Tony, congratulations.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot for coming on, and don't be a stranger. Come on back.
I won't.
All right. Take care.
Yep.
All right. Kurt, come on in, Kurt.
How are you
Good, I'm Andy.
Andy, nice
Good to meet you.
officially meet you.
Good to meet you. And second place male finisher, Kurt Houghton. You gotta. I think Aaron gave you a jab there
I
at
know,
the
last
podium.
one,
What
right?
was he? What was he
Yeah.
saying? Made the podium about time or something?
I've been chasing the podium for the last 4 races in the Fall Cup, and now a couple in the spring. So it feels good to finally get on that.
Sorry, Jordan's
No,
me.
it's okay. To finally get on that podium. So
Yeah, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. It looked like Kyle kind of got
Yeah.
a bit of a lead, like right in the in the
Yeah.
flat part in the first 10K.
yeah.
And then that sort of gap just sort of stayed.
Yeah, that seemed to be how it went. But yeah.
Did you see him at all on the descent?
I saw him a little bit on the climb.
Oh, okay.
Of Go Camp.
Yeah.
But after that, that was kind of it.
Yeah.
When I saw Kyle's name on the registration list, I kind of knew it was going to be a tough feat. But yeah, I'm just so happy to be on the podium. I'm such a fan of this sport, and I've been watching all your guys' podcasts and stuff. So it's been super fun to be a part of. So
Right on.
Yeah.
Are you going to go to the dam run next
I
next
am,
month?
yeah,
Because I
super
think
excited.
I think you qualified with points in the fall series,
in
right?
the fall, yeah.
But I
yeah.
think wasn't this the first cup race you did this in the spring, or did you do?
I did Coldwater.
You did Coldwater.
And
Okay.
then came in 4th in that one, right behind Dev. Dev always likes to sign up last minute.
Yeah.
And then I see him at the start line, and I'm like, oh man. But yeah. So I did Coldwater, which was a good race.
That was a grind, I thought. It's just kind of grindy and sandy and
Yeah.
twisty and turny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you think? I mean, so you've done enough of these cup races. This is kind of a new thing for us at Aravaipa. I think it's been kind of fun to sort of shine a light on the sub-ultra distances, get a lot of people out to the trails. What do you
Totally.
think? You think it's been
I think it's been super fun. I've been just so into it with all of like the podcasts and just everything you guys have been doing on like social media and stuff. I just think it brings more people out to the sport, and like my family watched the live stream today, but they all live in Chicago. So
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
it's just so cool to be to have them involved, and they can really see the sport that we all love.
I also like the fact that, at these distances you can do one a month or even
Totally.
2 a month, without
Yeah.
too much wear and tear, and
Right,
and you
yeah.
can get out there and just hammer it. and-
Yeah. And that's the cool thing too, is like the variety in all of these races, right? It's some are kind of a lot hilly that you can really run, but some have those big climbs.
So many people have a mindset about Phoenix, like concrete jungle, and certainly it is that. But to
Yeah.
think about, like, on all the corners of this area, you have these beautiful regional parks like this. It's just
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah, we moved out here 5 years ago from Chicago, and I don't think we're going anywhere. So yeah, we love it.
Well, right on. Congratulations,
Thank
Kurt.
you,
We'll
man.
see
I
you.
really appreciate
We'll
it.
see you at the dam run.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank
take
you.
care. Bye-bye. All right, there's the men's podium. Kyle, Kurt, and Tony. What a fun group that was to chat with. They've done an incredible job here today. Those three battled out. Tony, what a story. First time he's ever even pinned on a bib. First time he's ever pinned on a bib. Bree, come on in. We have Brianna Grigsby here. Good to see you.
Good
I'm
to
Andy.
see you.
Good to see you. Brianna Grigsby, let me get the count right. 3rd place woman. How'd it go out there today?
It was good, but let me tell you, I have never worked so hard for a 3rd place finish. So this was my first trail race back in 2016. So
Awesome!
it was really special for me to come back today. But when the women's race went out at sub-6 pace, I was like, bye. See you later. Because I certainly can't sustain this for a 30K.
Yeah.
So I was in 4th most of the way until about 3 miles from the finish.
On that descent?
On that techie descent,
Yeah.
I saw the 3rd place girl, and I was like, this is my shot. I'm like, okay, I'm pretty decent at techie descents. I did, right after I passed her, I did
Look
fall
at that.
bloody up my knees a little bit, but I didn't even feel the pain because I was just like, I got to get up and keep going because I knew she was a road runner, and that last couple miles is really smooth.
Yeah, I think once you pass that last
Yeah.
aid station, right, and you make that turn,
And it's super smooth.
Yeah.
So I was like, she's going to catch me on this session. So I'm like running at sub 7 pace. I'm like, I don't know how long I can do this, but I'm just going to push as hard as I can. And
What?
Yeah,
I mean,
awesome.
what did you? I've asked a couple people this. Was there any? I mean, we haven't had rain in forever. We just had massive rain yesterday.
Yeah.
Did it affect the? Did it seem to affect the course at
No,
all, or
you
was?
know, honestly, I think it was better for me because it wasn't dusty, and so with my asthma,
Yeah.
my lungs did better.
Oh, really?
A little bit of moisture in the air and no dust, and yeah, there were a couple puddles, but yeah,
That's
nothing
it.
you
so
can
nothing.
Totally avoid
Oh,
them.
that's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. So. What's on your calendar for the summer? You've always got something going on.
Yeah. So I am going to Gorge Waterfalls 100K
Oh.
in April. So this is kind of
Really
like
competitive
a
field
training
there.
race
Yeah.
for that, and I raced last weekend at Old Pueblo 25 in Tucson. So these are kind of my training races to go into.
Right on.
Gorge Waterfalls. I'm doing San Diego 100 in June, and then in the fall I'm going for the R5 unsupported FKT. in
Really?
Mesquite Canyon. So. Yeah,
Well,
that's what
like
I've
I
got on the
figured, you've
docket.
got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Look at that going on. Well, congratulations. Now, I can't remember. You're probably not in the Sonoran Desert Cup. If you're busy with training
I
for
think
Gorge,
this
have
is
you done any of the other
I think
races?
This is the only race I've run in
Okay.
the series. So
Yeah.
I kind of hopped into this one as sort of a training
Right.
race.
It's kinda
for
short for
Gorge.
you.
Yeah, it is on the short side for me. Honestly, these distances scare me a little more than the longer distances.
Yeah.
I'm more intimidated by these little races. But yeah.
Man. Well,
So, yeah, it was awesome.
fantastic. Great to have you
Yeah.
out here.
Thank you
and
so much.
and good luck at Gorge. We'll be
Yeah,
watching for you.
thank you.
All right, take care.
You too.
Brianna Grigsby, everybody. Keep an eye out for her at Gorge Waterfalls. And she's got to go get those knees cleaned up. She could really cut up those knees. Here we go. We'll get that on camera. All right, that was fun. All right, we are just see if I can get a. We're 3 hours and 18 minutes into the 50K. We're keeping half an eye on that 50K. We know we've got Flagstaff's Jim Walmsley, who's through Mesquite 2 in 2:46. Don't yet have an update on Eric LaPuma or Jesse Carr. And we've got Michael Rabani just sliding in under 3 hours. Yeah. We're trying to get the rest of the women's podium up here, but they're busy socializing. All right. Devin?
Yes.
Hey, how are you? I'm Andy.
Andy,
Good
nice
to
to
meet
meet you.
you. Devin Nyhill is here joining us in the studio. Devin, you turned our heads back at the Cave Creek Thriller.
Yep.
And then you volunteered, I think,
Yeah.
something else. So
Yeah.
that was your only Sonoran Desert Cup race
Yep.
in the fall.
Yes,
and
it
I
was.
think this is your only Sonoran Desert Cup race
Yes.
in the spring.
Yep.
Well, what do you think of this whole trail running thing?
It's super fun. Yeah, so these 2 races have been my only trail races, so I'm new to it, but I've been really enjoying it. It's definitely challenging, and I think today the climb really showed me that. Road racing, we don't really get into stuff like that, so it was really fun, but yeah, seeing what else I can do.
Yeah, we looked you up when we did our first one, and you have like a really fast half marathon PR and stuff. You still do the roads?
Yeah, so I did a 10K earlier this winter, January, I guess, and then I'll do some road stuff in the summer as well. So I like to kind of mix it up, but I've been really, really enjoying getting out on the trails out here.
Right on, right on.
Yeah.
So I've got to ask, I think you have a lacrosse background.
I do, yep.
And you're from back east?
Yes.
Whereabouts?
I grew up in Virginia, and I went to school in Philadelphia.
All right.
Yeah.
Where'd you go in Philly?
It's called Drexel.
I know Drexel.
Yeah.
So my first teaching job was at Penn Charter.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
got my graduate degree at Villanova.
There you
And I'm a
go.
lacrosse person
A
too.
Philly five
So and
school, yeah.
whereabouts in Virginia?
Northern Virginia. I grew up in Vienna. Went to school in Arlington. Yeah, so right
Lived
outside DC.
lived in Charlottesville for
There you
5
go.
years.
Okay.
So I knew we had some
Hey,
connection with both Pennsylvania and Virginia. All right, so I mean, are you thinking at all of going longer, like dabbling into 50K and beyond?
So,
or
at Whiskey Basin this year, I'm going to do my first ultra. So coming up in about a
You're
month.
doing the
I'm going to do
60K?
the 60K.
Right
yeah.
on.
So I'm really excited for that. I think it'll be the farthest I've ever run ever. So that'll be a challenge. And then to do it on the trail will be fun. And I hear great things about
It's
the
a
race.
fantastic
Yeah,
race.
so I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's going to be my final tune-up for Cocodona, too.
Nice.
I've volunteered up there. Those trails around Prescott are so
yeah,
nice.
that's what
and-
everyone's been saying.
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
I'm really excited.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, Devin, great to meet
Nice to
you.
meet you, too.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
and
much.
we'll see you out there.
All right, sounds
All
good.
right,
Have a
take
good
care.
one.
Yep,
Thanks.
bye-bye. You got your cheering crowd here. That's Devin Nihill. And we've got one more. I think Nicole's busy eating too. Got her. It's just you. You're the only one left. Nicole Hansen. She was busy eating and socializing, but no, take your time. Take your time. Wow. Nicole Hansen, how are you, Andy? Good to see you again.
Andy.
Oh, my gosh. How'd it go out there today? You were hammering.
It went all right. Less than ideal circumstances. I wasn't feeling the best this morning, actually. But I know that I'm in really good shape right now. Been feeling good. Been doing some climbing for the last 5 weeks in my training. A lot of climbing, actually.
Yeah.
And so I was excited to go up goat camp. This is some of my home trails, or used to be my home trails. I used to live in the West Valley of Phoenix. So
I think the last time we interviewed you in one of the fall races, you
Was
were
McDowell.
just coming back from I think a pretty serious injury,
Yeah.
right? Is that all in the rearview mirror?
yes. So that was my first race back, and
Yeah.
that went pretty badly for me, actually. But that's normal. Your first race back. I was like 10 months. I hadn't done any racing. So now training has been a lot better. There were a couple months into like really serious training. So I feel pretty fit.
That's
Yeah.
great. So you've got this in the rear view mirror. What are you thinking of for the summer? I know you've always got
That's a great
plans.
question. That's a great question. Originally, I was going to do Canyon's 100K, but I'm also in a master's program right now, so I'm trying to get to May with school stuff and just balancing training and school.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So
And- yeah.
so you've got and are you finishing the master's program in May?
No,
Oh.
only finishing year one. Yeah. So I actually don't have any race plans yet, but hopefully soon I'm going to come up with
Okay.
some. Sorry.
All right. Did you feel any effects of? I mean, we haven't had rain in forever here, and we had tons of rain Thursday night and yesterday. Did it affect things at all out there? I mean, like you said, these have kind of been your home
No.
trails. It
No.
didn't seem to be much of a issue.
Yeah, it was actually really cool out there, and it had like that fresh rain smell. So I enjoyed it. I live in Flagstaff, so we got about 12 inches of snow yesterday. So
You couldn't wait to
we
get
left.
down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So awesome to have you on, and good luck with that
Yeah.
master's program.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, there is Nicole Hansen, our women's winner. Thank you to all 6 podium finishers for indulging us with the post-race interviews. Nicole Hansen, Devin Nihill, Brianna Grigsby, Congratulations to the three of them. And Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, and Tony Goregi. Sorry for butchering that pronunciation. Again, as I was mentioning before, really cool to have Tony running his first time he's ever pinned a bib on, and gets a podium at a Sonoran Desert Cup race. Update on the 50K. Jim Walmsley was at mile 23.2 in 2:46. 8 miles from here. So we would expect to see Jim in the next 10 or 15 minutes, assuming he's doing typical Jim things. Estimated to be, I would guess, between about 3:40 and 3:45 would be my guess for a Jim Walmsley finish at the Mesquite Canyon. First time he's been back to an Aravaipa event since 2017. We got a nice finish line view here of finishers now streaming in. Huge thank you to our sponsor, Squirrel's Nut Butter, Huss Brewing Company, Athletico Physical Therapy, Maricopa County Regional Parks. Thank you all so much for supporting Aravaipa. I am Andy Jones Wilkins with Mountain Outpost Aravaipa. We are thrilled to bring you the 7th race in the Sonoran Desert Cup Series. The championship race comes up next month at the Damn Good Run at Lake Pleasant, just about 20 miles east of here. Got Jesse Carr through Mesquite 2 in 3:26. I'm guessing there might be something up with Eric LaPuma's bib. I think Eric, at least at last check, was between Jim and Jesse in the 50K. But we will await confirmation on that. I don't want to assume. Brittany Lump has come in to the finish. She's 5th place. She's already in the damn good run next month by virtue of her results in the fall series. About 3 hours and 32 minutes into the 50K. Mesquite Canyon Trail Runs, brought to you by Aravipa. I'm Andy Jones-Wilkins. My partner Chris Warden is out running today as part of his Western States prep. There's a great shot of the trail coming into the finish here. This is back up at the Waddell aid station. That's mile 16.9 of the 30K. Great environment here at the finish line, one of the trademarks of all of the Sonoran Desert Cup races and all the races that Aaron Barber directs. Festive finish line feel, a beer garden with the beer provided by Shadow Mountain Brewing. I could go for one of those right about now. Shadow Mountain Brewing Company and nutrition provided by Never Second, a great new nutrition company. If you haven't tried the Never Second gels, ooh, they are good, really good. Just the right amount of sweet, really nice and liquidy. A very good gel. Never Second gels. Jen Gustafson presiding over the finish line aid station. One of the best grilled cheese chefs you will ever meet. We've got a drone shot of Jim Walmsley coming into the finish of the 50K. That is his characteristic loping stride as you see him coming into the finish. I remember the first time I saw Jim run at the 2015, hard to believe it was almost 10 years ago, at the 2015 JFK 50. Flagstaff local Ian Torrance brought him out to run the JFK, as Ian did every year, would pull together a team of runners to come out and run the team competition. I remember meeting Jim and seeing him run, and man, it's hard to believe it was 10 years ago. But here comes Jim Walmsley into the finish. It is, that clock on the top right is the 30K clock, so you got to add 15 minutes to that. So Jim is at 3:37. You can see the tents in the distance there, so probably just 3 or 4 minutes away here from the finish on this nice smooth trail. As most people know, Jim, born and raised here in the valley, Graduate of Shadow Mountain High School. Parents still live here in Phoenix. There's a bike cam following. And first time Jim's pinned on a Aravaipa bib in 8 years. He's run a couple other races down here, most notably the Pemberton 50K, where he has the course record, and more importantly, the Strava segment KOM for the Pemberton Loop. Just go look it up and try and run 1 mile at the pace Jim did the Pemberton Loop in, and you'll realize how fast it is. Aaron's announcing Jim's finish here now. First race for Jim since UTMB. He withdrew early at UTMB back in August and spent much of the fall nursing a knee injury that looks to be in the rearview mirror looking at him run right now. Just overhearing Aaron Barber, it looks like Jim will cut about 20 minutes off the course record for the Mesquite Canyon 50K. I think that's Bryce Brooks getting in a little speed work with the camera. So Jim Walmsley from Flagstaff. He spent the winter in Flagstaff this year after spending a couple of years with his wife Jess over in France. He's coming on up this final little climb, and Jim Walmsley.
Coming on home, this is Mr. Jim Walmsley from Flagstaff, Arizona. He's going to be taking his very first trail win of 2025. Great job, Jim.
And Jim Walmsley finishes the 50K right about 3:40. Aaron's reporting its course record by about 21 minutes. A nice tune-up for Jim, a nice return to competitive racing after several months away. Down here in trails that I'm sure he knows well. Desert environment's always been nice to Jim. I suspect it's part of his tune-up routine before his... But good to see Jim back healthy and racing. 5-time men's Ultra Running Magazine Ultra Runner of the Year. Western States champion 4 times. UTM. Fun to see him out here at a low-key race like Mesquite Canyon. And I think most people know Jim is fully engrossed in the sport. In addition to being an incredible competitor, he loves to volunteer at races, particularly local races in Flagstaff, or I saw him at Black Canyon last month. He'll come out to Javelina. He will do trail work locally and regionally, fully engaged in the sport. Very active in the Flagstaff running community. Our own here, down here in Arizona. Jim Walmsley winning the 50K and beginning his prep for what I'm sure many expect to be perhaps the most competitive Western States we've seen in a very, very long time. With a field that includes David Roche, potentially Killian Jornet, Hayden Hawks, the 2024 Male Ultra Running Magazine Ultra Runner of the Year, be towing the line at Western States this year. Should be a fantastic day. But we are here to celebrate the Mesquite Canyon Trail runs from White Tank Mountain Regional Park in the northwestern corner of the Valley of the Sun. We're about 30 minutes drive from downtown Phoenix. The White Tanks are one of the crown jewels of the Maricopa County Regional Park System, along with McDowell Mountain Park, Cave Creek Park, Estrella Mountain Park, where the Coldwater Rumble was a couple of months ago, and where today NASCAR fans are gathered by the thousands for the NASCAR race at Phoenix International Raceway. This is also spring break time here in Arizona. All kinds of stuff going on in addition to this race and NASCAR. It's spring training, and 15 Major League Baseball teams are gathered here to play ball games. I'm going to join my family for the Diamondbacks game in a couple of hours in Goodyear, and looking forward to that. Aravaipa runnings, Mesquite Canyon trail runs. We're 3.5 hours into the 30K, the Sonoran Desert Cup event, final one on the calendar for the fall series. There will be a championship race, which will come up here next month, around April 6th. Again, we're looking back out here at the Waddell aid station, right around mile 16.9 of the 30K. From here, it's just flat and gently rolling to the finish for these runners, closing in on their 30K finish. Sure, if he's free. Let's see if we can get Jim Walmsley over for a quick chat. And again, here's Waddell aid station. A couple more runners coming in to the finish. Or, sorry, not the finish, to mile 16.9 of the 30K. That guy looks like he's relieved to be there. And that person's just flying right through. Really festive atmosphere, by the way, here at the finish with the beer garden hosted by Shadow Mountain Brewing behind me. All of our sponsors out. Squirrel's Nut Butter, Huss Brewing Company, Athletico Physical Therapy, McDowell Mountain Regional Parks, of which the White Tank Mountain Regional Park is one of the crown jewels. Huge thank you to our men's and women's podium finishers for joining us for a couple of brief interviews. It was great to hear from them. Able to meet many of them for the first time. Great race for Nicole Hansen and Devin Nyhill and Brianna Grigsby. Great races on the men's side for Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, and newcomer Tony Uregi running his first ever race. A regular runner, a local here in the Valley, basically running for the first time ever with a bib on, which was kind of fun to chat with him. And it sounds as though this will not be his last one. He looks forward to running another race sometime in in the not too distant future. And so good job for Tony. Fun to see him. Come out here and jump into a race for the first time. All right. Here we have Jim Walmsley coming in to join us for a quick chat. Hey, Jim.
Hey,
Good to see you, man.
How are you?
How are you?
Good.
Jim Walmsley, just have a seat, bud. Just finishing his 50K run here at Mesquite Canyon.
Yeah. Cool. Got it.
Hey, Jordan, we good here? Jordan,
Check. Can you
we
hear
good here?
that?
All right. Can you hear it? Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
Hey, this is your first time pinning the bib on since late summer, right?
Since UTMB, yeah.
Yeah. How was it? How'd it feel out there?
Yeah, it feels nice to get back. Wanted to put a bib on before traveling across the pond to Italy to do a race in a couple weeks. So, hopefully this shakes some rust off, and we'll be back for a good race season this year.
And Arizona. You're always going to be in Arizona and you're always going to be a valley guy. Was it fun to be out in, out in your, I don't know if this is your backyard, but in these desert trails, you know me, I love the desert too. It must have just felt good to be out in like that sort of familiar. We had the rain yesterday, so you had the creosote smell going on.
Yeah, it smells really good in the desert when it rains. It's fun to come down. It's not too far from Flagstaff where I live. So, and then from the valley, but not this part of the valley, probably an hour and a half across the other side. Pretty big place, but similar desert landscape, lots of pokey, prickly things, rocks. This one's a really nice race because the 50K hits like 2 little technical trails and very, very desert-esque in Phoenix. So I think it's a good race.
Have you run in the white tanks before? Like just come out here and
train?
I
ran out here a few times, and then I actually did the 50K in 2016.
Yeah.
But there's like a T spot at about 7 miles, and I remember I went right for a couple miles and then turned around and went left.
Yeah, I think I did it in like 2012 or 13 and battled with Ian Torrance until we got to that creek bed section that they used to
Ford
have.
Canyon. I actually ran through it yesterday with my wife Jess, and so I got to preview that a bit. So I knew in a couple spots to stay left, and I think I went through the wash today pretty smooth. I saw Jamil out there today, so I'm sure he got some video stuff. So it was really fun.
All right, so you said you're going over to Italy. What are you racing over there?
I'll be racing Chianti 125K, so the golden ticket race over there.
Yeah.
I'm just hopping in for that. And
how long are you going to be over there for?
I'll be over there a little less than a month total.
Okay.
So I'll leave on Monday in a couple days. 2 days.
2 days?
I got to pack. And then I'll meet up with Vincent Bouillard.
Yeah.
And then we'll run through the course this next week, most of the course. And then hopefully relax by a pool. Actually, it looks like it's raining over there right now. And we'll see what the weather's like, but it's supposed to be good weather. At least it's a fun place. I know there's the big bike race this week, or right now actually.
Strada Bianchi.
Yeah, it's right now out to Aresh in kind of the Savoie area a bit, but most of my time in Aresh after Italy, and then say hi to friends over there and kind of the little village that we like to live in France, and then we'll come back and we'll start getting ready for Western States.
Right on.
And then right after Western States this year, the plan's to go back to Aresh and start teeing up big mountain races.
Yep. So I know that you were a little banged up. I saw you briefly in when you literally just had gotten back from France. Is your health good? Is everything in the rearview mirror?
Yeah, things today felt really good. It's been a really, really long, very steady progression back to volume. Pretty frustrating injury last year. It's just kind of a tendonitis through my adductor that I got pain in my knee area. And it was kind of a pain to get rid of, pretty stubborn, but so that's why I didn't race again the rest of the year. It basically started feeling that maybe, I remember talking to PT up in Flag about it 3 days after Western States, and it kind of plagued me the rest of the summer and the rest of the year. And yeah, unfortunately didn't get back on a start line healthy, and yeah, so it just hit a big reset over winter, and hopefully we'll start kind of seeing some of the fruit of the labor.
Well, this must have felt good. I mean, just going out
good.
and, you know.
I think I know putting on a bib this close to Chianti, the goal was not to overcook it. So we'll see in the next couple days how that went. But yeah, legs were turning over really good. Hey, good to see you. You bring your coffee machine? You bring your coffee machine? Dude, you'd be killing it. Thank you.
Well, that'll be fun. I think that the field's looking good for that Chianti race, and it'll be nice to get out. Get back to Europe for a little bit.
There's a few guys will show up with good legs, and so it'll be a fun, fast race. We'll see what the trails are like. I mean, it runs really fast, but then some of it looks rocky. But kind of like today, like I ran through Mesquite Canyon yesterday, and like, oh wow, it's pretty rocky out here. Like maybe it's going to be a little slow, and then race pace, you kind of start stepping over a lot more of those rocks, and it becomes a little less technical.
Yeah. Well, Jim, I think I'm speaking on behalf of everybody with Aravaipa and Mountain Outpost. It's great to have you back in Arizona, even if it's just for a little while, and down here in the valley. And congratulations on a great day today, and I'll see you at Western States.
Yeah, that sounds great. Great to see you. I think you're heading up to flag soon, right?
Yeah, well, we've got the Chase film that's going to be up there.
Yeah. So I saw that. Unfortunately, I'll be
you'll miss
out
it,
before because it's next weekend, I think.
Next weekend. Yeah. So it's going to be fun. And I'm doing Cocodona, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I guess the 200s are here to stay.
Especially when you get a little older.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right.
Well, good to see you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, have a great trip over to Europe. Jim Walmsley, everybody. Fresh off his course record run here at Mesquite Canyon 50K. Giving us a little life update, and great to have Jim back here in the valley where he grew up. Sounds like he's on his way to Europe and going to do a little racing over there, and then come back to do the finishing touches on his Western States prep, which is kind of become an annual exercise for old Jim Walmsley. We are 3 hours and 42 minutes into the 30K. We're going to be on the air about a half an hour longer. Continue to see how some of the folks are finishing.
For the kids race today, we're going to be going out this way and taking a left.
Huge thank you to Kyle Gallagher, Kurt Houghton, and Tony Joregi, our men's podium in the 30K, as well as Nicole Hansen, Devin Nyhill, and Bree Grigsby, the women's podium for the Mesquite Canyon 30K. Talking to Jim about that Ford Canyon section. It's a section of the course that only the 50K and 50 mile go through. It's really rocky and can really wreak some havoc. Aaron Barber is getting ready to start the kids race. We can see on the screen here, kids race is getting ready to go off in a few moments.
And if you're in the starting vicinity, watch yourself because they go out quick. 1 minute to go. We will count you down to 10. So we're looking at just over a mile total.
Getting ready for the start of the kids race here. You can see on the screen Aaron Barber getting ready to send them off. One of the fun aspects of these Desert Runner Trail Series races, there's a little something for everyone, truly something for everyone, including the kids. He's counting them down. A little bit more than a mile. Gonna go a little bit more than a mile.
All right, so make sure you keep this pathway clear so that when you're coming back, it won't be a stack way back or down.
With literally something for everyone. In addition to the long distances, we've got the 50, the ultras, the 50K and the 50 mile. We also have here at the Mesquite Canyon Trail Runs an 8K, a half marathon, and the signature event for the Sonoran Desert Cup, the 30K. Three hours and 45 minutes into the 30K. All right, everybody. The kids race is off. We're gonna stick around to see the finish of the kids race, and then a couple more finishers of the 30K, and then we're going to call it a mark. Northwest Phoenix area. Very festive atmosphere here today. The camp chairs are out. The sun is brightly shining. Most people, aside from me, have taken their puffies off. I am just a lizard. I am a lizard. Give me 100 degrees, please, people. Thank you, Adam, once again for pulling out your sleeping bag. I owe you one. And thank you, too, to the Podium, both the men's and women's Podium, for indulging us with the interviews, as well as Jim Walmsley before he heads over to Europe on Monday. In fourth, Brittany Lump in fifth, Caitlin Hudema in sixth, Amanda Paltzer in seventh, Brittany McLaughlin in eighth, Jacqueline Jacoby in ninth, and Lindsay Yazzie in 10th. By the way, Jacqueline Jacoby, Lindsay Yazzie, and Brittany Lump already qualified for the Damn Good Run on April 6th. Rounding out the men's top 10 after Kyle, Kurt, and Tony are Dan Roeder in fourth, Scott Davidson in fifth, Michael Rabani in sixth, Brent Popek in seventh, Walter Cantwell in eighth, H.R. Chase in ninth, and rounding out the men's top 10 in a time of 3:18:41, Ben Tyler. One last drone shot from our man in the sky, Michael Carson. Michael's done an amazing job, as he always does, flying those drones. This is looking down onto the desert floor here at the base of the White Tank Mountains. Zooming in to the finish of the kids' race. and some of the additional finishers. There will be people finishing throughout the day and into the night from the 50K to the 50 miler. Good shot of another finisher coming in. Before we wrap up here on Mountain Outpost, Aravaipa Running, Mesquite Canyon Trail Runs, and the Sonoran Desert Cup, I want to remind everybody that our next live stream will be on Sunday. Mark your calendars. It's a Sunday race, the Damn Good Run, Sunday, April 6th. It will be the championship race of the Sonoran Desert Cup on Sunday, April 6th, from the shores of Lake Pleasant. And then a week later from California, outside of Healdsburg, Lake Sonoma, the Lake Sonoma Ultras on April 12th, Saturday, from Healdsburg. You're going to want to tune in to that one. And then it's just 3 short weeks to the big dog, Cocodona 250, which will be May 5th through the 10th. Live stream, wall-to-wall live streaming. The race from Deep Canyon Ranch to Flagstaff, Cocodona 250. Speaking of Cocodona 250, I want to one more time remind everybody about the world premiere of The Chase, a new film created by Dylan Harris, produced by Jamil Curry, starring Jeff Browning, Joe McConaughey, Mike McKnight, Michael Versteeg, Arlen Glick, and Heraldus Sabertus. The world premiere will be this coming Saturday, March 15th at the Orpheum Theater in Flagstaff. Doors open at 5. The film starts at 6. We're going to have an expo beforehand. We're going to have a Q&A afterwards. If you are listening and watching this from someplace afar and are interested in bringing a film, The Chase, to your town, go to the Aravaipa website and the section on The Chase and reach out. We recently have secured screenings of the film. Here comes the finish of the kids' race. We've recently had screenings of the film scheduled in, of all places, Santa Cruz, California, and New York, New York. There's going to be a screening in Manhattan, New York, coming up in April. So if you're so inclined, please do so. There's also a whole bunch of showings. There's a Prescott showing. There's 2 Phoenix showings. There's a Denver. There's a Salt Lake. There's a Seattle. There's a Massillon, Ohio, among many others. So please go and check that out. Once again, come check us out at the Damn Good Run on April 6th and the Lake Sonoma 50 on April 12th, as well as the Cocodona 250 on May 5th to the 10th. I'm Andy Jones-Wilkins, AJW, and on behalf of everybody on the team here at Mountain Outpost Aravaipa Running, I am signing off. Take care, and thanks for joining us.